Have you ever wondered to yourself, why are you not achieving the goals that you've set? You see other people achieving and setting their goals and achieving it to a high degree, while you struggle to do that year after year, right? Or maybe you do achieve your goals, right? But you find a grind on a day-to-day basis and dreading the process. Or maybe you're just changing your original goals halfway through the year. Now, if you have ever wondered why people achieve their goals so easily and some don't, you are not alone, right? The answer lies in the method of setting true, authentic goals that you actually want to pursue. In this particular video, I'll walk you through exactly the same goal setting methodology that I use for myself, my team, as well as all the advisors that we coach, right? Because once you know this method, you're able to set goals that you have a way higher chance of achieving, and more importantly, allow you to enjoy the process during the climb towards the goal. So enjoy this video and let me know your thoughts in the comments. So let's talk about number one, right? Think about it. If you want to build a great authentic advisory business, we must first, if you think about the words in there, which are chosen carefully, the first thing is that we need to be authentic. When we hear things like being authentic or things or words like being purposeful, it always seems like a cotton candy. And what I would love to do as much as possible, as best as we can, is to really break down what these words means. Because if we understand what it really means, then we can take actionable steps, right? Okay, first thing is we got to be authentic, right? And if you think about what authentic to us really means, at least the way we look at it, it's just being real and true to yourself. That's about it, right? And let me give you examples of what I mean by being true to yourselves. There was a time when I was with an advisor in the first year. What happened was that I tried out different methods, right? I did roadshows, I did cold calls, door knocks. I didn't, but my team did, and then I did warm social media referrals and everything else. And so when I was doing it, the reason why I did roadshows and cold calls at a point in time was because I saw my other colleagues literally earning a hell lot of money, right? And I think last time when they sell, now it's called CareShield. Last time it called ElderShield, right? Yeah, I think it was $200 if I'm not wrong per case, right? That you can close out for, and it doesn't require cash, right, from the prospect. And so what happened was that people were just closing, and then they're earning like easy 5,000 FYC just from doing roadshows. At the point in time, you understand, I was just starting out, so I was maybe earning $1,000 or so, right? And I was thinking to myself, hey, shit, maybe that's roadshow works, right? People have done it before, so I should try it. And so I went and tried it. And I tried it. And then after a shift, I was like, thought, no way I wanted to do it ever again, right? And the reason for this is because when I was at the roadshow, who here does roadshow? Yes? No shame, no judgment, remember, safe space. Okay, great, right? At least for me, right? Like when I did roadshow, I just couldn't stand the idea of having to stand there and get people to sit down, right? And then number two, it's just really not in me per se. I could, but it's really just not in me to really start and then close something on the spot. Now, I was taught to do that because they say when you go roadshows, right, your frame must be, I won't say aggressive, I think the key word is assertive, right? You got to be on the ball, you got to whatever, right? And make sure to sit down and then bump and then close. And then the strategy is close first, close small, acquire client, then after later, right? That's like the whole idea behind it. You know, as I did it, I just couldn't. I couldn't describe, right? Maybe there could be a chance that maybe I just sucked at it, right? And generally speaking, humans, we don't like doing things that we suck at. Makes sense? Right? And so maybe I suck at it, but I just didn't do it. I just couldn't do it. So I did cold calls. I did cold calls for one day. My manager gave me a list of like odd contact. To be honest, I don't even know whether are they scrubbed, are they even quality. Last time, digital marketing is not really a big thing. They're talking about 5, 6 years ago, right? It was just a list, random numbers, right? And they were just like, call. I did 500 calls that day. Trust me. You need to understand, before that day, I was corrected. The night before, I was pumping myself up. Because I had a colleague, right, who just joined with Tonight Advisor. Let's do it, man. 500, no 500, don't go home, huh? Right? Okay, that's steady. Then this morning you went and we call. Hi, this is Ben, and I'm calling from have I got the background? A little bit, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, the first I kind of slang. Right. No, it's boom. I can't even hear the no, I'm not interested. You're I'm not interested, boom. Right? Cool. They always say numbers game, right? It's only the first one, right? I'll tell myself, I will not allow that to ruin my day. So hump up, right? Yeah, I was 21, 22 years old, you know? I was like young and feisty, I'm like, let's do it. And I called. And at the end of the day, make a guess how many appointments I've set. One, who says you? Hello, why like that? And like, I was so bad, man. My cold calling. I had 0. Okay, anyone else? Any other guesses? 1, you have 0? 2, 3, 5? Someone said 5? Any other takers? Going once, going twice. Have you all seen the Hong Kong, this auction on IG, the option on IG? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, have you seen? Oh, never. Okay, never mind. Yeah, but this lady that does the option with, right? Okay, at the end of the day, I had one. Wait for it. And that one was for me, he said tentative. And he said, call me back by the end of that day. Call him back at the end of the day so that to confirm. I was like, okay, never mind. I was like, hey, this is so hard. Never mind. I have one. Good win. Good job, man. Right? And I called the guy. That was like 8:30 p.m. or something like that. Because he said, call that time. It's like, call. I think it's Vanny again. Yeah, you booked earlier this morning. Just want to confirm our appointment next week. I think it was like Funan or something like that. At McDonald's. Because no money, right? Everybody to McDonald's, when it started. Right? And then after that, someone said Starbucks. Sorry, too high says. I really had no money at one time. I had to go to McDonald's, right? And so after that, and then he said, can you stop fucking calling me? But I was like, first thought came in my head. Shock. First was shock. Second was try to find logical reasoning. But the first thought you say to call you back one month, right? Yeah. Then I used that reason, which was the worst thing you can ever do. But you said to call you back. I don't care what I said. Stop calling me. If not, I'll call police. Holy shit, right? That one glimmering hope of validation. I was able to get one appointment out of 500. Became zero. You were like very confident that I'll get zero. Yeah, I got zero, right? What happened was that I got zero. Yeah, I decided, okay, you know what? Screw it. No, but I wasn't about to give up yet. Because why? What about was then? I just asked my manager, can borrow his standing marketer, right? That time I got call. So I did call, went down. Yeah, I think my show up rate when I went down for call appointment started coming in, right, was like 20%. 20%. People just don't show up. Call them, text them, and then you either get last seen, blue tick, or one tick. I used to get blocked, And so that was kind of it, right? And so what I bought was end up doing warm and social media and referrals. I did warm first, just catching up people, so on and so forth, just talk to them, genuinely care for them, and here why it is. Now, why I tell the story is because that's kind of like being authentic, right? Like everybody, here's the thing, all prospecting methods work. We have all seen it work to a large degree. People got gotten success from there. And what happens is that we find ourselves sometimes, okay, you know what, if roadshows work, I also want to do it because it worked, I have the money. But over a longer time horizon, right, it's not going to work out well, right? Because everybody has a different preference. Everybody is just of a different nature. I have one of our clients literally did cold calling for call. Dude, he did like 30K FYC in 3 months. I'm like, this guy is a baller, right? Yeah, but let's say you wouldn't tired, man. I enjoy it. I enjoy calling. I enjoy going down because the process of converting someone cold to become a prospect, to become a client, right? That relationship, I love seeing that work. I'm like, cool, right? It works for it. Oops. And at the end of the day, what you want to do is understand, right, that being authentic is just being real and it's me being true. Just write this down. It being real and being true. Okay? Now, this is one of the most important things that I think people have not talked about it as much or as it is, right? Because what happens if we are not authentic? This is the question, right? Ben, I hear you, be authentic makes sense, being aligned makes sense, right? The question then is, what's the consequence of not doing it? The consequence of not doing it, right, is that you feel very tired. And I don't mean physically tired. If you think back to some days or some parts of your life, during the year, last year, or even this year, maybe you're doing okay, maybe you're doing well, but maybe you're just tired emotionally and mentally, where you just don't feel like doing it anymore. And some of you kind of get what I mean, right? Is you kind of put on a facade, right? Because every time we are not authentic, what's going to happen is that we'll build up this wall, make sense? Or build up this, the wayang, they put the mask. You have to wear that mask, right? And the more you wear or the longer you wear that mask, the more tired you get, and then at some point in time you give up, right? And so I think that's the whole point, right, of being real, because you want to be what you want to do or what you do has to be aligned with who you are. I think that's the most important. If what you do is not aligned with who you are, which is your beliefs, your core values and everything else, there's misalignment, you're never going to be like this successful. Whatever definition of success. Makes sense? And so that's the first step, right? Really being authentic and being real with yourself. And that's the first part of this first segment, right? Which is called tech. The second thing, it's released in context to our industry, and this is called tech, right? Basically, if you guys haven't got it yet, the first step is basically establishing true authentic goals. It's called tech, right? Tech. So the first step to being GAB is tech, right? True authentic goals. Okay? Now, why I talk about goals and be authentic and everything else? Because it's very, very simple, right? I'll share with you the steps on how we do it. Most people, when they set goals, right? How do you guys set your goals? Anyone? When you set your goals for the year, or let's say business-wise, how do you guys set the goals? Luke, how do you set your goals? or your team, or whatever it is. Okay, good. Yeah, how much time I have for self and everything else, right? Which is great. Because what most people do, and the industry got it backward, right? Which is when it comes to goal setting, right? Most people do, they will think about either money or awards first. Right? They think about money and awards first, and then they treat that as the goal. Make sense? So we need to say they come in beginning of year, or maybe 31st December, right? They'll be like, okay, you know what? Next year, I will do MDRT. Right? Or you go agency kickstart, and then they say, okay, guys, please pledge. Anyone still do pledging nowadays? Yes. Yeah. I mean, when I was there, they're still doing pledging, and they go on stage. I don't know how you guys pledging works, but last time the pledging works is very simple. You sit down like that, everybody write down your goals for the year, right? Like how much MDRT or how much FYT. This is the only thing they care about, how much FYT or whatever. They ask you to write other things, like your personal life, but they don't really care. They only care about you know why? Because once you say you don't want a car, you want to take Grab, they will tell you, buy a car. So that FYT. That makes sense. So it's kind of like it. So I wrote down, and then after that, you must go up, then you must go away. You must go up here, right? You must walk, then you hold a piece of paper, right? And this for me. And it's okay. This year, I will pledge 2 rounds, 2 MDRT. Right? Then after that, guess what? Then everybody will cheer. Well, then you go down. That was kind of like how pledging kind of worked last time. Anyone still doing those? Walking on stage, right? Or at least in the agency? No? Okay, cool. Yeah, things are changing. Slowly. That's how it is, right? And so what happens is that most people will try to think about the money and awards first before thinking about the goal. But what I want to talk about today, right, is that it has to be actually, the real truth is actually reverse. Think about your goals first, then think about what's the money that's required to get your goals. Just in short. Right now, sometimes some of you might be listening to this and actually, Ben, I'm doing it in my agency already. That's what we do. This is just me being real here. Every time you set your goals, which I'll talk about later, I'll talk about more. Please don't set your goals. Okay, please set your goals. You can write this off. Please set your goals by yourself. Please set your goals alone. Please set your goals alone. Whether you can be at home, you want to go Capella one day, you want to set your goals by yourself. Not with your boyfriend, partner, whatever, not with your agencies. Do it by yourself. And the reason why I do that, because when you set goals with other people, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? This is by right your goal, right? You set your goals. But when you set it with other people, what happens? Sorry? Copy, exactly, right? Now what happens? It becomes their goal. I mean, you see why you need to do 30K? Then you're like, oh, because this year XYZ reasons, right? This is what I truly want. See why? You need to think bigger. Okay, you need to think bigger. You need to dream bigger. You need to go XYZ. Now, I think these comments and these remarks are, less good intention. But just speaking is that the moment you have other people influencing you, how you set your goals, you are never truly living the life that you want to live. And why goals are so important, we talk about it first, right? It's because everything that we're going to build goes back to the goal. Make sense? This is kind of fun. Okay, I know the best way to frame this entire mastermind. We are doing financial planning, business planning for financial advisor. That makes sense? And this part is finding out where you want to go, right? And so we want to find out what's the goal. And then after that, what's the money or awards that you want to go, right? Or at least achieve. And so what this looks like is very simple. Right? Now, when you think of goals, it's just really 2 parts to it. Or you want to set goals, right? The first part is really just tangible. And so by tangible, what I mean by that is you have, cars, you have a lender, right? Someone say Porsche. Oh, is it? Oh, watch. Watch. Yes, watch. For the ladies, usually like what? Oh, right. Bags. What's the most favorite brand? Shout out your favorite brand of bags. Bags? Hermes. Oh, Hermes. Anyone else? Chanel? Yeah, right, whatever, right? Then for the guys, for ladies as well, whoever, right? Watches, what's your favorite brand of watch? Casio, come on. You see, the moment you say Casio, right, then other people is like BS. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding, right? Why am I kidding? Because everybody's authentic, right or not? Because do we have seen advisors who don't wear any watches? And they're like really legit, they just wear a polo tee, some shorts, right? And then with full sleeves. It's them, right? That's going to be the idea, right? First of all, I'll share with you the process of at least how we do it, right? Then you see whether you can apply it to your context. So the way I look at this, I'll sit down and look at goals. And at first I ask myself, okay, what are the tangible goals that I'm doing? Chief. Most people think of material possession, which is true because it's tangible in nature. But one of the other things that I will look at is also from a business standpoint, what are the tangible, I know it's not tangible in that sense, but what are some of the assets I want to create for the business? For example, right, I ask myself, okay, this year I also want to create, let's say 5 lead magnets, for example, right? Or X number of social media posts, etc., etc. I'll think about all those things rather than just the money. Make sense? Because remember, if I picture this, what we want is, hey, there's money, right? This is what we want. Money is derived from value, agree? And in order for you to create value to get money, you need the processes and systems in place to get that. Make sense? And so I start thinking, okay, what are the activities I need to do? I said as the tangible goals, right? You can look at it as a personal and business kind of standpoint. Now, the second one then is really intangible. So when it comes to intangible goals, the first thing that I always look at, right, it's, or at least for me, this is for me, I always think about, if it's easier for you guys to elaborate on this by yourself, is about how I want to feel. My intangible goals, right, has a lot to do with how I want to feel. Because a lot of our behaviors are dictated by emotions, even though we try not to, right? And so for example, if let's say your bank account is below a certain threshold, what's going to happen? You will panic sell, right? Because you're like, oh no, I need to close the cage, right? Panic sell. And I don't want that to happen, right? I want to be like, if I don't make a sale today, it's okay. Now, of course, I cannot keep saying it's okay for forever, right? But at least it's not going to make me the panic mode. Make sense? And so I want to talk about how I want to feel. And one of the things that I know a lot of advisors want, including myself as well, right, is we always want certainty. Yes, we want to feel there's some form of certainty, right? And we also want to feel, I always like to call it home. It's just peace of mind, you know? Because, and the reason why I think a lot of people want to reach here, also including myself, right? Which is when you have peace of mind, you have certainty, the way you work will be very different. Agree? The way you work will be very different. You know, you won't be chasing after the targets as much and more and everything else. You'll be like, actually, you just go with the flow. That makes sense? So some of you, have you ever experienced like when you're doing sales, you just catch up, just open, go close, you just go with the flow. This is how things happen, right? Yeah. And that's also because you have certain form of peace of mind and certainty, really, right? So that's how I'll look at it. Right now, I won't go into nitty-gritty. Generally speaking, I will look at usually a 5-year. There's always this, anyone have a vision board? Vision board, yeah, big one. Okay, cool, right? So there's a vision board, right? And then usually these vision boards are, as of now, what we or how we see ourselves 10 years later or X number of years later. Challenge with that is that usually 10 years is too much of a horizon that we can't really manifest it as much, right? Or as real as it is, right? How many of you here for your, that's funny, my agency or office, there's vision boards, right? And then almost out of 10 vision boards I saw, 7 of them all for Ferrari, got the Rolex, and then like X amount of dollars, right? So that's how it is, right? And so the way I look at it is that I still want to have an idea of like where I'm headed to in terms of my quote unquote end outcome of how my life will be like. But then I always kneel down to 5 year, and then I'll break it down to 3 and 1. Yeah. To be honest, on a day-to-day basis, you don't even really look past 3 years. To be honest, you just look at, just below 3 years. Yeah, that's how it is, right? Don't care so much about 5-10 years, right? Because sometimes when you focus too much on the arriving, what happens? It distracts us from the doing, right? We feel like we cannot reach it. Imagine, let's say you only got 50K in the bank and then you want to buy a lender and you're only earning 5K. And then you ask yourself, how? I will never get there this way, right? And then you just prevent the manifestation from happening. So that's intangible, right? These are the goals. Now, once you settle the goals, then think about the money, how much money is required. So the way I look at it is that there's you as a person here. He's you. Why are you laughing, man? But then after that, guess what happened? Okay, we can guess what I just drew. Obstacle, mountains. Okay, good. So what I just drew, right, was, okay, basically that's you, there's mountains, right? First of all, you need to be aware, you need to understand, and you need to accept yourself. Make sense? Accept that you're not like Elon Musk. Accept that you're not like a top producer. When I say top producer, I don't talk about commissions, but accept that you're not going to be like XYZ person who's going to be rah-rah. Just accept yourself, right? Be authentic, be cool, yeah. Then the next thing is this step 1, right? Then step 2, which is where we are right now. I've drawn. What the fuck is drawn? I've drawn mountains, right? Goals to me are like mountains. And so when you look at mountains, you're trying to ask yourself, which mountain should I climb, right? You're asking yourself, goals are like mountains. Which mountain should I climb? And so there are different mountains, right? There is, so what you want to find out, right, is that you want to find out, okay, which is your true mountain you want to climb. And so let's say this is your mountain. You want to climb, okay? This is your mountain. And what's going to happen is that when you don't do goal setting yourself, you're going to have this coming out. This is a car, by the way, just say. Okay? And then you have watches, whatever it is. Make sense? Right? And there are other mountains that's being displayed for you because you can see, so many different mountains, right? You need to find out what's your mountain. Make sense? So that's kind of like how it is. Because every time, if you choose the wrong mountain to climb, sometimes you won't get, or sometimes you'll die trying because you realize the mountain is not for you. And there's a quote that I think my mentor used to tell me, because I was thinking to myself back then, I was like, hey, I also want to earn millions of dollars like this, do it in this way, so on and so forth. And then he looked at me and said, it's cool if you really want it, but you need to understand, Ben, that not all mountains are yours to climb, right? Not all mountains are yours to climb, And this is how, if I illustrate, right? Now, Because let's say we choose this mountain. Okay, and basically the mountain here, you have your goals, correct? And in order to get your goals, you need what? What's the favorite word? Goals. You need what? Sales, good. And in another word, right? It's just basically dollar sign. Make sense? And so how you want to see your life and goal is very simple. There's you. First, you understand yourself a little bit more, right? Maybe you're not the work 14 hours a day, 18 hours a day kind of person. Maybe you got family, you got whatever, right? You want to be a stay-home mom, whatever. And then you look at your goals that suits you, right? Alignment. And then you set your goals ready, then you start figuring out how much money you need. That makes sense? This is literally the process, right? Understand about yourself a little bit more. Now, I'm not asking you to go a spiritual retreat to sit down there and let me feel how I am. Not really. But of course, there are certain things. How many do? I'm not a big fan of this, but how many of you done DISC? All of yours? Oh, okay, yeah. Enneagram. Yeah. IMABCDEFG. That thing. What? Myers-Briggs. Yeah, that shit. Anyone else? Anything else actually? Strength Finder, Pathfinder, whatever. Right now, all these things are great. Now, our own company, our own team, right? We use. If Mel is here, she will say 八字. Right? Look at the stars. Some people use horoscope. Right? Zodiac, whatever. Right? Now, I'm not against anything. In our own team, when someone comes in, we use, at least like when we hire someone, we use a word for that. Gallup. Sorry, don't mind me. Gallup. Whatever. GALLUP. Right? We use a strength assessment. That is helpful. Right? Well, I'm not saying do all these things. Nor am I saying those things after you've done it will help you understand yourself better. It does. Right? But I'm saying you're going to really feel it inside you. Okay? So that's really the big idea here. Now, the reason why I say you need to do your goal setting yourself, because here's the real truth. Nobody knows you better than yourself. And anyone else, including me, telling you what to do and to do it in a certain manner, need not be that applicable for you. Because you know yourself better. Make sense? Right? And so it's not so much about, oh, you know what? If Ben said this, I must do this. It's Ben said this, you consider it. If it applies, take whatever it is and then make it yours. Make sense? Right? That's what being authentic and truly yourself. That's something I'll put disclaimer first. Okay? Now, why I'm saying this? Because I spent, I think, more than 400,000 the last 3-4 years on coaching, masterminds, everything else. So I got a lot of people telling me what to do, right? All their different methods, different whatever it is. But what I realized is that there are some times where I follow a certain methodology and I see this person, I do it. I actually get success materially, but then I feel like something is wrong. Something is weird. Like it's missing. Like it's not me. You know what I mean? And so then, well, guess what? Find another person, right? Then do it again. Then find another person, right? Do it again. That we're sure still earning money, but it's just, you know what I mean? Right? So that's why you want to be yourself. Okay? Goals and then money. Now, when it comes to money, which is the part here, the way you look at money is that if let's say my condo or the lender, whatever it is, X amount of dollars, right? Okay, first of all, the goals that you have, right? Please put a price tag to it. If you say, I want peace of mind, your peace of mind got money, I can buy it. Your peace of mind can buy it. You have to feel certain. Don't worry about money ever got price tag. Okay, got price tag. And you need to identify what's the price tag. And so a very layman way of saying, right, is that if I want to feel, I don't have to worry, quote unquote financial freedom. You guys know it better than me, right? If I have 10 mil, I put in 7%, blah, 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 right? That kind of stuff. Yeah, that's where you guys are good at. Okay. So put a label or put a monetary amount to every goal that you have. Intangible or tangible? Intangible more important. Why? Because sometimes, right, if you don't know how much you want, the problem is that you might exceed how much you need to earn. And let's say, for example, your peace of mind can be bought by 10 million, for example, in cash, on investments, whatever, right? But then because you didn't set a goal, you just keep saying, I want peace of mind. Guess what? You might overshot the 10 million goal, right? And guess what happened? You keep going for more and more and more. And so the goalpost starts getting shifted further away. Make sense? As life is like a game. This may be an energy. I'm just trying to say different things to hit at different brain nerves, right? So you guys get, right? Which is, life is like a game. You just know how to play. Problem is, game has rules. The big challenge is that sometimes you don't even know what are the rules. And sometimes you don't know what constitute winning. Make sense? If life is like a game, what I want to do is that I want to find out, okay, what game am I playing? Right? It could be a money game, which I hit X amount, and then I pangkang. Right? Or I hit whatever. And then the thing is that, what is the X amount? Right? Because there needs to be a scoreboard in short. And so that's how I look at things, and that's how kind of life is, right? Because sometimes we overwork ourselves, we work beyond. A lot of people, anyone hear your prospects or your colleagues say, oh, I enjoy working. Right? So I will not stop. I will not retire. Right? Something along the line. Right? Yeah. And so the way that you want to do that is that you want to have an X amount before you can shift your lens or how you feel from working for money versus working for like passion or whatever it is. Make sense? Because this is a financial system. And so therefore, we are all slaves to it to a certain degree. And so the goal is to, if you think about being financially free, the goal is actually to get out of the financial system. That makes sense? Does this kind of, make sense? What he elaborate? Basically, right? Everybody is, I won't go in too deep here, but very, very long time ago, there's such a thing called slaves. Yeah. Labor, like physical, like slave, right? Which is a sad thing or whatever. And basically, they got no options. They have to keep working and keep going. Never stop. And until you die. And in a higher tier, when you're in the slaves hierarchy, the higher tier of it, right, is that if they find they like you as a slave, you will get a bit of money, you get a little bit more money to buy certain perks. And so what they do is they create some perks. They say that now you're able to leave the city for 1 day a week, for example. Right? And then you can buy XYZ. They allow you to buy certain things. But in order to buy those things, you need to work harder. Make sense? Right? And so what happens is that now allow you to buy more things, but this creates a loop where now you want to buy more things. And you'll be stuck in the same system because you're never getting out. So if you think that's like a post way before. Or if you don't think about it now, you change the physical part of things to just money. It's kind of like the same thing. Or kind of like working for money. And all of us are just trying to get out at some point in time. Some of us get out, some of us still continue to stay there. Right? And so what I'm trying to say is that I'm not saying it's wrong or right in any manner. I'm saying that you got to understand, if you think that game is life is game and you want to know what your goals, and your goals is peace of mind, financial freedom, whatever it is, honestly, financial freedom is just a bullshit term. Right? Because what you want is not financial freedom, right? What you want is what it means or how it feels after you achieve financial freedom. It's a feeling. It's not about like financial freedom. That makes sense? Because you don't buy an Hermes bag for the sake of buying an Hermes bag. You don't buy a watch for the sake of buying a watch. You buy the significance and the meaning you're attached to it, right? And that's kind of like how we look at goals and go deeper, right? And just to get out. Because once you get out of working just to earn money or like to get out of the system, the way you work will be very different, right? Can you imagine going to the prospect hire? Or 你要不要? It doesn't matter. Hey, young, okay, this is a proposal. Here's what's going to happen, okay? I want you to take 5 weeks to think about it. We'll meet back 5 weeks later. Then we have another chat again. Yeah, you're able to say or do certain things because you're not in a rush. Make sense? And then if they are in a rush, for you, right? You know, that's what it is. You know, as we always tell our clients, we want to get them financially free. We plan for them and anything else. When's the last time we plan for ourselves from a business standpoint as well to get out? It's hard when we keep layering on more and more things. We push the goalposts further, or we don't even know what's the goal. As there's a thing I keep saying in the last 1 year. I said that if you do not know what's the game that you're playing, like what's the goalpost, you end up playing other people's game, right? So if you don't know your goals, you follow your manager for director's goals or agency goals. And you have to end up being a slave to that. And it may not be their fault, it's just you don't know yours. Right? Now, the hard part is not doing their goals. The hard part, right, is you have your own goals, they also have their goals, then you clash. You know what I mean? You want to do 50K, they want you to do 100K. They help. Okay, but that's an issue for another topic. Okay, but does it make sense so far? Understand yourself, understand and accept who you are. Number 2, identify your goals, tangible, intangible, business, personal. Yeah, how much money then, right? So the process is easy. The problem is that most people don't listen to themselves, or most people choose the wrong mountains. That makes sense? Like most people choose wrong mountains. How do you know you choose? The next question I had someone asking me the other time, Ben, how do you know we've chosen the wrong mountain? Very simple. One of the telltale signs, symptoms, is 1st January, you know that the goal is that, right? Go and then after that. 1st July, so 6 months fast, right? Yeah, let's say you're here. Then you look at the goal, and you're like, oh, I don't know if I still want it. It looks far. Actually, it's not something I really want. I've been working a lot. Then guess what happened? Me here. Change your goal, right? You lower down, right? Or you change to something of frequency. And well, sometimes you might say things like, actually, I won't do it this year, I'll do it next year. Something all those times, right? Yeah, and the reason for that is because that goal might not truly be yours. You know what I mean? And so that's why most of us are always in the experimental stage of finding out, okay, is that the goal or not? Is that the right mountain to climb? Right? When you identify the right mountain to climb, there'll still be hard work, but you will enjoy the work a lot more and you feel very aligned every day knowing that's your goal. Make sense? Right? And that's the big idea here. Okay? Now, for the additional note, and why we talk about being authentic about goals, right? It's very simple. And I want to read you this quote that I had to read from iPad because it's slightly longer. But I tell you, this quote is something that the last 2 years changed my life, right? If all quotes, like this is the quote for me. I would love to share it with you, which is this. The opposite of courage in our society is not cowardice, it is conformity. And there you have the reason for so many failures. Conformity. People acting like everyone else without knowing why or where they are going. This is by Earl Nightingale. If you don't know who Earl Nightingale is, the same era as Napoleon Hill of the courage. So I repeat again, the opposite of courage in our society is not cowardice, it is conformity. And there you have the reason for so many failures. Conformity. People acting like everyone else without knowing why or where they're going. And if you guys have studied a bit about psychology, they talk about herd mentality, right? Propaganda, etc. The thing is that if you're in, let me ask a question, in the industry, are most people top performers, bottom performers, or average? Average? Okay, great. And so if we do and think and believe what most people are doing, which is most people, which is the average, and the bottom, which is majority of the people, if we think, do, believe what they are doing, thinking and believing, where do you think we end up? Probably somewhere you'll never be at where we want to be. That makes sense? Right? And so this is really one of the key things. The goal is like to know where are you exactly headed to and why. That's the whole point. And I don't want to brand myself as a motivation speaker, but this is where the point comes where, what's your why? Right? MDRT, what's your why? Right? That's kind of like a big idea behind why they say it. Right? Because what they're trying to say is, do you know yourself? And where are you headed to? Makes sense? If let's say you're going to like US, for example, right? You're going to US. Why do you go to US? Right? Most people say holiday, business, work, whatever. Then you know your clear purpose. And that's maybe the place for you to go. But some people are just like, oh, why you won't go? Okay, guys. Have anyone been on cruise before? Cruise, yes. Who is a dream cruise supporter? Royal of the Caribbean. Royal, okay, great. Royal lawyer. Okay, so what happens is that you go to the website, right? There's in the past, right? I don't know now they still have it. But then there are different options, right? One of it is 2 day, something like that. Then the other one is go to Penang, Phuket, right? 3 day, 4 night, 4 day, 3 night, whatever, then come back. And then last time, I don't know if you still have it, but then there was another option. It's called cruise to nowhere. Most people on that cruise. Most people on that cruise. This is how life works. They're just going nowhere and they're just energy and everything else. So you think about a ship, right? If you leave the port and you start traveling, if you know where you're going, you know exactly how much fuel you need, where are you going to stop, how long you get there. Make sense? The problem is that if you leave the port and you call it, I don't know, is it Chinese? Tuang. Yeah, just like, Hokkien, I don't know. Just tuang, I just like hobo around. Even if you're continuing making movement and progress, what do you think is going to happen to the part? What do you think is going to happen? Do you think this ship will ever reach anywhere? Or even if they reach, they probably reach the wrong place. For the worst, they run out of fuel. They run out of fuel and they're just floating in the ocean. You know what's that called? It's called burnout. That makes sense? Right? Because sometimes burnout happens because you don't know exactly where you're going and why you're exactly over there. Cool? Right? And if our ultimate goal is to create sustainability and stay along the business, that's the key thing we got to focus on. Cool? Okay? This one makes sense, huh? That's that. Now, once we have basically ourselves, there's a goal, right? And there's the money and everything else, then the next thing, it's basically this part here, which is, can you guys see this? Anyone? This thing, okay? Where I'm not drawing a sperm, okay? It's just a direction. What do you think this is? Okay, so I repeat a bit again, okay? We know ourselves, we know where we're headed to, we understand this, and what's the task? What's the third one? Against current? Okay, good. What else? Good. What else? Anyone make other guesses? Rome. Anyone else? Last one? Journey? Okay, great. Go. Direction. Okay, once we understand ourselves, we truly accept that we have a purpose in this world and we play a different role. We understand the goals and we know how much money it takes to get there. The third thing, right, is just choosing the right route. What's the road to get there? What is the road to get there? Right? And so let me explain. Let's say we choose this mountain. We're going to climb, right? There are many ways to climb the mountain. Agree? There is basically going back to these 3 things. Okay, this is route. So once you're at the mountain, you need to choose the route. And the route has just 3 things. Number 1, time. You need to consider time. Number 2, you need to consider method. Right, what's the last one? Time, method. Let me just confirm this. Yeah, time, method, and effort, basically. Yeah, time, method, effort. So that's for energy, if you call it. right? Time, method, energy. And choose your route, right? You're going to consider that. Let me put in the energy first. So if you think about climbing on a mountain, you need to consider how much time you're going to climb there, right? How much time you want to take. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, 5 years, whatever. Secondly, then you're going to see the method by which you climb. Whether is it like, you're going to crawl there, you're going to take helicopter there, I don't know, right? Or like walk there, whatever. Then the third one is energy, right? Like how much effort and energy are you willing to put inside to climb to reach that goal? And why this shit is like important, right? Because if you bring it to our industry context, it's very simple. Have you heard people saying like, we ask them what's their goal, they say I want to do MDRT in 3 months? Or maybe sometimes you go around and then you see the WhatsApp group coming in. At blah, 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 achieve COT in 6 months. Right? We career switch to this, right? And what happens is because remember, you see other people doing it, you also want to achieve, right? MDRT in 4 months, 5 months, whatever. Right? I want to buy a landed in 1 year, for example. What happens is that you have not considered these 3 factors when you're choosing a route. So what you want to do, right? There are some people, they try to do COT in a year, they hit 2 rounds, and then the second year, they only do like 30K or something like that, right? So let me tell you a story to just kind of bring this point, right? Which is, I had a call with this advisor. He's about 40 over years old from IFA, which I obviously went in. And he on a call, and he's this dude that is like regular, etc. And he's been in business for 14 years, right? 10 years. So what happened was that, here's a call, and then obviously a conversation. And what happened was, he told me he was very proud. And then he was like, he was trying to, arm wrestle me. I was just like, oh, last year I did TOT, in 9 months. I'm like, cool, great stuff, right? And then after that, first question you want to ask on the call is what? What's the first question or first thing you want to find out from the prospect if you go on a call? Problem? Before that, good. I like that. What's the main reason why you hop on a call? Because if you have already achieved it, understand after it's sales stuff, right? Nobody will meet you unless they have a problem. If someone have no problem they can solve, they will not meet you. That makes sense. So if someone even show up, even if you say, I want a freebie, whatever, right? They want a freebie. When they show up, they have a problem. Make sense? And so this person is TOT. Because you think about it logically, if you TOT, you have a lot of money, you big F, why spend your time with me, right? Home and Kong, I asked him what's the reason. And he said, I want to revisit and re-strategize my business strategy on how to do my business. I'm like, cool. Second question I asked, what you did has gotten you TOT. Then why not do it again, right? The same thing to get. That's why I asked. Then after he quiet. Ego, right? So you don't want to say it. And I'm like, I say, hey, if you don't share, I can't help you, right? I'm saying we could work together, but I don't know how that. And after he was like, then he said this. He said that, I said, 14 years in the business, TOT, and MDRT for all the rest of the years out of this. He said this. He said, my clientele is drying up. I'm like, interesting. The very fact that you stay long in the industry means you probably have some good stuff, right? You know how to get your way. I mean, there's no way. And so I dive even deeper. I put on a Sherlock Holmes kind of cap and I dive even deeper. And then what I realized was that the reason now he got his TOT, right, wasn't the big case or whatever. He went a bit more of the smaller quantum, right? Mid-laugh, right? 30, 50K a year, right? B. And so what happened was that he did that. And what happened was that he went back to all his clients with some form of strategy / campaign, and he just wiped them up. That's what he did. Get all his hands. And he TOT. Now, let's assume he did it adequately. Okay, let's assume that, right? He wrapped it out and he did TOT. I said, okay, why don't go back again? I mean, I purposely asked this question, right? Because why don't go back again? Then he was like, because they already buy already. Okay, how about referrals? And then I was like, then he was like, those you give already, I can't sell, I can't get it. Cool. Any other things you're trying out now? No. I said, he was a bit very guarded, which I understand, right? When you're there, I get it. I say, hey, look, let's revisit this conversation again. This is why I suggest do X, Y, Z. Go. Right? We caught up again, 6 months later. Something like 6 months later. And then at a point in time, right, I just asked him, I said, hey, so how are you going? We're empty again this year or whatever, right? And then you achieve your TOT already now. You know what's his reply? You know what I guess? He said this, he said, Ben, I'm taking a sabbatical this year. I'm like, cool. And I say, hey, what made you take a sabbatical? Yeah, then great. Right. And then he was like, I just want to focus on building a team now. Something like that. Yeah. Right. But the truth is that he just couldn't find. So I asked him one other question. So with the clients thing, like how he's still doing sales or whatever, I will put that on the hold because I want to focus on my team. And the way he said it is just don't know. And so I said, share this story because the route matters. How you get there matters. Some people get to the top and end up losing an arm, burning their nervous system out, and they got to the top. The next question is, are they able to get down or even climb another one, right? Makes sense? And there are a lot of advisors right now that say that, okay, they CUT, they did TOT and everything else. I used to be very impressed by that, right? I was like, what, TOT, 大晒, you know, 我已經有料, right? But then I realized something. I realized that number one, you don't know how they got there, and that could be the ethical means and the unethical means, if you know what I mean, right? And secondly, right, while they might have money on the outside, they're just very unhappy people, really very unhappy people. You need to take it, you can don't take it, but like this from someone who's spoken to 2,000 plus individual advisors, right? Hong Kong, Singapore, Malaysia, Brunei, whatever. And they're just unhappy by hell, you know? And this is the reason why in AS or data advice systems, right? The goal, right, is not, okay, COT or TOT. The way we look at it is like, what's the goal that you truly want? And what's the way you want to get there? Such that the journey and at the top, you feel good about it. Make sense? Right? And you need to understand factor time. So how does this relate to how you do your own planning? Anyway, I'm doing this because it's me here, right? So number one, right, you want to talk about once you have these goals in place, you want to ask yourself, like, okay, cool. In order to get to the goal, which is, let's say you need to earn 25,000 a month, okay? Every month to get to your goals or pay for your bills or whatever. Then you ask yourself, okay, what's the timeline by which I want to get there? Another 5 years, 3 years, 4 years, whatever. And also more importantly, your income of 25K a month, how much of it do you want to be active versus passive? When I say passive, I don't mean like investing outside, but talking about like recurring. Make sense? Right, your rep fees. You know, so we should dive in deeper later on as well. Right, so you want to start thinking how you want it to be. Because you can earn the 25K, hit some of your goals, but then you got working 18 hours and you don't care about your baby and your dog is dying, right? Like, it is what it is, okay? So that's basically the time, method, and then energy. Make sense? I'll give you another story. You guys have stories? Okay, not here. Okay, so stories. So I have this, one of our advisor clients, right? She's a mom. Where's all the moms? Okay, cool. All the moms. Yeah. Okay, so moms, first of all, amazing people. I had this mom, right? And then she was with us. She is still with us. And what happened was that she was always doing MDRT all the time. MDRT is no problem, right? And she wanted to get the 2 rounds. And then obviously the COT. And so what happened was that I asked her why, right? Like, why would I do that, you know? And she has kids. I asked her why? What makes her do it? And then what happened was that she was saying, you know, I don't think I've reached my potential yet. Anyone caught yourself saying that, you know? I haven't reached my potential yet, right? Okay, that's okay, cool, right? Like, sure. Then we work on the plans, so on and so forth. And what happened was, right, that when she was on the way there, she was so unhappy. She had no time for her kids. And the funny thing is, right, her kids are her main priority, but she had no time for her kids. She's not that present. She's stressed, health conditions, etc., right? And so there was one time on the call where we dive in deep, and then what happened was that it was an intense session, right, where, you know, tears come out, etc., right? Because, and what we realized, right, was that she wanted to hit COT and all that stuff was because when she went for Sanjay Donani, or rather Dr. Sanjay Donani, conferences and all the stuff and everything else, she was inspired and she wants to do those things as well. And I look at her, I say, okay. I say, hey, how happy are your relationships or with you and the kids? How much time you have for them? And I said, good. I said, okay, great. Which was a priority? I said, kids. Okay, cool. And I was like, hey, you don't need, I said, you have already actually achieved a COT already. I was like, what are you talking about? It was funny because she was crying, right? And I had to make a little bit of joke just to lighten things up, right? You have your MDRT, right? For the math. And then you have kid number 1, right? And you have kid number 2. Okay? These 2 are MDRT by itself already, right? So it's 1 plus 2 plus 3, you have COT, right? So I told her that, then she laughed, right? And she get it because what I'm saying here is very simple. You want to achieve COT, which is, let's say 3 rounds, right? You need to put a lot more time, energy, effort. That's the truth. And if you have 2 kids, which you have to divert your attention and energy there, actually each kid who's not, the majority of us may not parents, no kids here, right? Okay, cool. Which one do you think is easier? Taking care of a kid or doing MDRT? Okay, great. And so, which means to say that the value or the difficulty in terms of growing a kid or raising a kid, for example, or taking care of one, is far bigger and larger than just achieving MDRT. That makes sense? But yet MDRT is always seen to be a thing, you know? And so like with that reframe, what happened was that not only was she able to achieve for one round, she achieved a little bit more than that and still spend time with the kids. You know what I mean? And so I'm saying this because you understand where that everything has a price to pay. Everything has a price to pay. You know? And Adigo said this, which why I know a lot about his stuff because I keep listening to podcasts and driving whatever. He said that you can be successful, right? You can get anything you want if you're really willing to do two things. The first one is you know where you're going to. And secondly, you're willing to pay the price. Some of us are not that willing to pay the price. And that's okay, right? Because everybody's goals is different. Make sense? Right? So hopefully this kind of drive the point home that eventually you want to be like this. Understand yourself, this bounding face here. Choose your own goals, not other people's goals. And you'll hear me repeating this, but the reason why I say don't choose other people's goals is very simple. At the end of the day, the climb that you take or the mountain that you choose, only you are paying the consequences, not the people who told you to wait climb. That makes sense? So if you climb a mountain, you fall down, they are not going to be the ones feeling the pain. They will be there with you at the hospital, but they are not the ones feeling the pain. And so no one else is living a life. Make sense? Right? And so this is something that we really preach and do a lot because I think at the end of the day, like I mentioned, right, money is one, enjoyment and purpose. You know, and you can't have that if you're not aligned with all the other things. Okay, get your goals. And then number 3, and then find the right route. Now, I want to share a very interesting dichotomy. When I talk about time, a dichotomy is basically a scale. Basically, you cannot have both. You can only have to what extent to either one of it. Okay, here's in front of us. On one hand, we have speed. We want things fast. Agree? Okay, MDRT, COT, whatever, in X number of months, earn this outcome. If I can earn 5 million in 3 months, why not, right? People care about speed. The other thing that they're trading off with is, and this will explain a lot of the problems that we are having. If someone optimizes for speed, the thing they're trading off for is certainty. Right? And so what this means is very simple. We honest, right? Every single one of you here, if let's say MDRT is go, you can get MDRT in 3 months. No wrong. I can give you all the different ways of doing it. But do we have certainty after that? Meaning to say, after you reach your first round, you know what you need to do after that to continue? Probably not, right? So you go up and done. And so this is why in business, which I'll talk about later, I don't really like marketing campaigns, or if you guys are running single premium, launches or whatever it is, right? Or if you're running a business like a campaign kind of business, it's usually not very sustainable because with campaigns, it gets you speed. That makes sense? It's like thinking to yourself, end of the month. What today is, let's say, end of this month, right? Mid-year. What can I do to maybe get all the cases in, right? That's kind of what we're thinking about, or most people think. And then start thinking of all kind of ways. Campaign, maybe send promo, catch up with them, whatever, right? They try to force it in. What happens after? So their sales don't like that, right? After that, they go for the campaign. Guess what happens? Goes up, correct? Tell me what happens after it goes up. Then how do you think people will feel here? Thinking of the next marketing campaign. Where my next prospect coming from? Right? What should I do next? And then you start brainstorming, okay, is it this X, Y, Z? And then you go through that. And while you're thinking requires what? Time, correct? So what happens? Your business model will start looking at that, correct? Because sometimes weeks that you don't earn money because you don't know what to do next. And then Dana hit the pot of gold. This is what most advisors' business model look like. Make sense? And so what I'm trying to say is this, when you go for speed, it's because over here, we want this as fast as possible. So we do things to get us there. The problem is that once you get there, you go now, and then now you're screwed again, you have no certainty. They are thinking, oh, can I do for more speed again to get the next bar? And it's a very weird reinforcing loop. Because if you have done it before, you know it works, you want to do it again. And so the goal, if you want peace of mind, you want more certainty, there needs to be some trade-off with speed. Right? It's like what our uncle Warren Buffett always said. The pregnant one, you can't get a woman pregnant 9 times to give birth in 1 month. Something like that. I'm just like butchering that quote, right? But you get the point. Right? If you're getting pregnant, get a kid, take 9 months. Roughly, like this. Cannot force it. If you force it, then what is going to happen? Deform, they have problems, whatever, right? And so you want to start thinking, or at least the way we look at it is that we want to start thinking of how we actually want to get there. That's why this is the how, right? It's like the business model wise. Do we want to go for speed or certainty? And that's what the question people will ask. The better question would be, to what extent do you want to go for speed and certainty? Make sense? You cannot just go for certainty, right? Why not? You know, you don't earn money. But you also cannot go speed all the way, because if you go there all the way, then what's going to happen? Then you find yourself here. Exactly. So you got to find that good in between, right, where you have the trade-off between speed and certainty. Now, there are some people, there are some advisors, they are just wired differently. They don't need certainty yet. Who cares about certainty, right? I'm good with this, man. No problem, man. Then they go for speed, no? Question is, they're optimizing for sustainability. Do you think this is sustainable? Probably, right? Some of you shake your head because I know some of you have tried this before. What do you think is more difficult? I give you 2 arrows. Okay, never mind. That's a wrong question. Let me just say it out. There's the going up part, correct? Then you go down. Then the next part is you're thinking how to go back up again, correct? Okay, how to go back up. Okay, great. Now, the slightly different part is thinking of what to do next. Because not as if your company every quarter always launch promos, right? Or whatever it is. I mean, they do, but just different forms. The scary part that I've seen is really scary. And I say scary because you have no idea how many people voice this out and they look very sad, which is this. I put a question mark here. Now that I look at the screen, it doesn't look like a question mark. But yeah, you guys get it, it's a question mark. Once someone is at the bottom, they know they can get back up. The question is, they don't know if they should or want to anymore. It's just kind of like a weird relationship they are in, right? You can patch up and make things better, and he or she on the other side can improve or make changes. And the only question is, are you willing to invest the time, resources, energy to do that? And sometimes, even different life stage, we're not willing to. Make sense? Right? And I've seen a lot of people just come here, they do a few times, they earn money. MDRT, by the way. A lot of people before come and call them MDRT, right? And they don't know if they want to do this anymore because it's tiring. Exactly. Right? And what we really want to do, which goes to the next phase of how to build a business, right? Pause here. We finish talking about our goals. Make sense? Okay? Find out your true goal, know yourself, etc. Find around. Then the next thing here is, instead of the business model looking at, what we want to do is this. What is this called? Let's assume this is a graph, right? Where this is cha-ching and this is tight. We want to have that straight line. What's the straight line called? Did someone say dollar cost averaging? Oh, that's a good one. That is actually a very good idea. Don't mind, I'll borrow that. Yeah. So dollar cost averaging, good, right? Maybe just draw it a little bit. Let's talk about business model now, right? Basically, you have like that. This is what most people like. And then what I'm saying here is that what we want is to have this. And then someone said dollar cost averaging. Fantastic answer. I love it. Right? Now, what we want here is instead of wait for campaigns, right? We just want the goal, right? It's not about how much money you can earn in the shortest possible time. The goal is how steady and how high of your baseline of income that you can have every single month. That makes sense? Right? It depends on your start. Some people like to do 50K FYC in 1 month and then the rest of the year bang down. I think some people like that and it's fine. But most people, what we know or what we actually teach is how can we get every month with the systems, everything else in place, get you this amount of baseline. And what I mean by that, I'm not only talking about recurring. Now, of course, recurring, for those who are longer in the business, this will help a lot, right? Recurring persistency bonus, so on and so forth. But I'm talking about the prospecting methods itself. How can you get new prospects of clients and sell every single month more consistently? Because I am not God, I will not say that it will be a straight line every single month. That makes sense? Like every month 5K. No, I think it will be like 3.8, right? Then like 5.6. Kind of a bit of nuances, right? But you want to have kind of baseline. Right? How you know this? Very simple. You just ask yourself this. This is a litmus test question. Let's say you ask your neighbor beside you, hey, if next month you don't work, how much income you think you're going to get easily? If next month you don't work, how much income you think you can get easily? Some people say, let's say you ask the number, 1K, can you get 1K next month? Yep. Some people will be 1K. Right? Even though they haven't reached the 1K yet, let's say new income, okay, new income. Next month, how much new income you get? FYC, whatever. Can you get 1K? Some people like, 1K, no problem. What? Oh, what's so big deal 1K, right? You know you sure can get 1K. 2K? Sure. 3? Then once you go to 7 or 8, then they're like, maybe hard. But I know every month I confirm get 4K a month. Confirm. You know that kind of feeling when you say it? That's kind of like how you know what's your baseline. Because baseline, right, has something to do with systems, right? The processes, the methods, which we'll talk about in a bit. But second is also in how we feel. Some people just know they earn money every year. If you've seen some advisors, you ask them, hey, 今年 MDRT, this MDRT or not? What do they say? Confirm not. That's the bare minimum, man. Then you ask yourself, then you ask them, confident or not? Then after that, you ask them next question, how are you so confident? Oh, I don't know. I just know can heal. Not very hard. Yeah, they feel like bad sometimes. You know? But it is what it is because like this is how they feel inside. Make sense? And that's what we ultimately want, okay? Baseline. Make sense?